ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. This is Sunday, I believe it's the 22nd of January 2017. You know, we've had a lot of strange things happening in the past several days as far as the candidacy and the election and the installment of the President of the United States, Donald Trump. A lot of people were kind of upset because Trump got the election, but he got it. And the day yesterday, which was Saturday, Donald Trump, is his first day. He didn't call it his first day of work, but it's the 21st or the 20th. Was it the 20th or the 21st? It was the 21st. So he got his first full day of doing what Donald Trump as president will do. Now, what happened, was that yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, Saturday. But what happened simultaneously was that women, for some strange reason, were able to stand up and speak out for themselves because of the fear and the threat that Donald Trump has indicated. And when Donald Trump makes his speech, he's always talking to his people who support him. He says he's their voice. He's not the voice of everybody else, just those people. And he lies quite frequently, and he comes back and tries to say that it's the others who he lied to that was lying to him, and point himself off as the great respecter, the great savior, and everybody else who don't go along with his method of saving, that they are demonized. And yet most of the people that do not support him don't, because they know what he represents. They've lived this stuff many times in their lives. But I must say that the most impressive thing to me when I went down St. Paul to the Capitol to see what the women were doing, my wife decided she would go, so she asked me to drive her down and drop her off. And as I was driving there, I saw so many people. I mean, I couldn't believe, it's almost like I didn't think this many people were in St. Paul and Minneapolis together. But I mean, there was a sea of people. So I decided to stay. And these people, I mean, they were out of sight as far as their standing up, as far as their speaking out, as far as their communicating their concerns to one another by signs and by the speeches and by the activities that were taking place. And then they come back home and turn the television on, and I see things that were happening in New York, things that were happening in Chicago, things that were happening in so many cities of this nation, and even where things were happening all over the world. And I was lifted. I was really, really lifted up to know that people are not asleep. They are not dead. They might have been laying down, and they did lay down when they let Donald Trump come into office by talking crap and they not believing it. And his supporter was believing every word of it. And the American populace stuck on something else. Stuck on it so much that they didn't have a viable candidate to go against Donald Trump. Even if Donald Trump talked real stuff, the viable candidate, I won't say she would have lost, but she wasn't looking good. Thing that impressed me much, much, much more is that I began to think that out of the 3 or 4 times in my lifetime that I ran for President of the United States, each time had to run as a write-in, each time couldn't get enough money to cross the street. But I offered what the people go to church on every Sunday talking about. They talk about God, they talk about love. And so these are the things, the platforms, the principles that I would run my campaign on, and I never got out of the door. Now, certain things that the women were saying. They were saying women make good leaders, and they got to put women in positions of power, and that they can lead this country better than men can. I'm not saying they can or can't. All I'm saying is that a statement like that is nothing but a tool of division. The same thing between black and white, men and women. Division. And where there's division, with a statement like that, you end up making men stand up and against women. And so you end up with nothing. Now, here's the most confusing thing to me, is when I look at human beings, I look at certain things that are coming amongst all of them. Certain things that they must have to survive.
Hello, please leave a
food,
message after
clothing, shelter, education, health care. And the only way I can see these needs being fulfilled and met is that everybody got a job. Everybody participates in the creation of these goods and services. And the people guarantee that these goods and services will be made available to every human being in America and on earth. I mean, that's the way I see it. That's the way, when I look at it, I see God that way. And why do I see God that way? Because I see me that way. Now, there are a lot of things that God has control over that I can't touch. The weather, the lightning, the rain. I hear that people do have control over some of those things, but I can't. The rain, the snow, the heat, all of these things, I have no control over that. But as far as me seeing people and knowing what people require and utilize the resources that have been made available to us within the earth, on the earth, and above the earth, I can see how, as God, as a person who loves himself, who knows what he needs, and wants everything that he needs to survive, apply that to every individual in America. They want the same things. They got to have it to survive. So my mission as a person who believes in me, who believes in you, who believes in love, who believes in God, does that. Now, when I went out as the terms, as I mentioned a moment ago, trying to seek the presidency, I was not supported by men, poor men or rich men. I was not supported by women, poor women or rich women. I was not supported by the church. I don't care what your denomination was, what your affiliation was. I was not supported by any. I was not supported by any institution in America. I wasn't supported by any populace of America. So the things that I was talking about, food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, the dreams that make dreams come true for the American people, nobody cared about it. I don't know if it's because they didn't hear, because I didn't get enough money to get out of the door. How could they have heard it? But I'm saying something as fantastic as this. If I mentioned it in my household should have been excited about it, to talk about it. They who heard it should have been excited enough about it to talk about it. And as it spread, it could have got talked about all over the darn nation. That's what I was hoping for. Something as great as this. Everybody lives and say they want to go to heaven. Live and want to go to heaven. And I'm saying you can make heaven right here, and they turn their back on it. How can they want to go to heaven? Well, that's what I represent. And today, Donald Trump is president. You got millions of women throughout America protesting and upset, and you got this one candidate who spoke about the dreams for every American at home, in his living room, preparing this tape for you, while the rest of my family is going to church. And I'm sure that millions and millions and millions of others throughout this nation are going to church, honoring and praising God. But they could not stand up for what God represents. I've gone to the homes of preachers, and they could not even back God up. They'd rather back Trump up. They'd rather back Clinton up. They'd rather back up anybody but someone who's championing what God is about. Now, I'm not going to say they got it against me because I'm poor. I'm not going to say I might have said it in the past, but I'm not going to say it any longer, that they're against me because I'm black. No, I'm not going to say that. They were against what I stood for because they do not understand God. They've been lied to by everybody. And Donald Trump is epitomizing the lies that they have received all their lifetime. The only difference is Donald Trump get up and lie to them in their face. And you still got people trying to speak as though he was speaking the truth. Though it wasn't him that was lying, it's the people who heard it. They heard the lie, but he didn't tell the lie, so they misconstrued. All this kind of junk. So, I just say to you, ladies and gentlemen, as I get ready to take this tape down and go to the library and post it on the YouTube and Facebook, that, oh, and another thing, let me tell you why it's so important to me. I'm a dad. I got roughly 9 children that I have claimed. And half of that population, well, a little less than half, let's say a third. Third of that population, a third of those, I have never done anything for. I haven't bought a pair of shoes. I haven't bought milk. I haven't bought a shirt. I haven't given them anything to go to school. I haven't done one thing for them. Some I have, but these I haven't. And I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud of that at all, because I am responsible to them. They're grown now almost. Well, they're all grown. I'm responsible to them when they were young, and I'm responsible really, whether you know it or not, by the situation that they find themselves in today. And this is why I have made the move to try to be instrumental in becoming something that would affect society in such a way that they know that they have not been denied anything, because the system of love, the system of God that administered here through this person would have affected them in such a positive way. But that hasn't happened. And so right now, almost 70 years old, I stand no chance of becoming president. I don't care how much people might hear my word now. What I am speaking, though, is the truth that would work for peace, for prosperity, and for joy all over this land. So that maybe somebody out there who is being led by the Spirit of love, that is being led by the Spirit of God, who probably have not gotten to this point just yet, but can roll into it now because they're hearing what they have felt within themselves and receive this as a confirmation and be able to stand up with boldness and accomplish what I did not accomplish. And so if that happens, then great. I'd like to apologize not only to my children that I haven't done anything for. I would like to apologize to the rest of the citizens of America who are homeless, who don't have food regularly to eat, who don't have food, clothing, and shelter, who don't have the ability to access to school as is required for them to be better at whatever it is that they choose to do, who might not have the available health care to protect them from sickness and disease and treat them even if they catch it, and even a slimmer possibility of getting a job where they can participate. I'd like to apologize to all of you. And for those of you who've been excused because you were not denied these blessings, I'd like to even apologize to you because you have been brought up, you've been trained in such a way that you are complacent to what other people are going through. You don't care, and even if you do care, you're not doing anything, which means you don't care. And in essence, what we see out of that whole total picture is nothing but junk. And everybody who's watching outside of the borders of the United States of America today, based upon this campaign that we've just endured, are looking at America as junk. And many of them might be coming up with enough power, enough egoism to think that they can try America. Oh, they won't win, but it'll be a great loss for them and us. So having said this, I'm going to leave it alone, and I hope that this was not a waste of my time, and especially not yours. So by the power of God, may God be with you. May God be with all of you. May God be with Dick Gregory and all of those people out there who are seeing what's going on and doing everything they possibly can to alert the public to what's going on. Now, I've heard very few solutions. One I could talk about that you might have heard of. You've heard of Zeitgeist, and many of you think that's a great program, and many of you don't. And you've heard of the Venus Project. Many of you think that's a program, wonderful program, and many of you don't. But I'm not pushing the program. I'm pushing the outcome of treating people like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. Do unto others as you have others to do unto you. And if you love God, then this is what you'll do. I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that there are different gods out there. There's a God of love and there's a God of hate. A God of love doesn't change his spots. God of love always loves. God of hate changes his spot. Well, it doesn't change his spots either. It tries to pretend like his spot have changed, only to trick you. And once that you have been tricked, you see that those spots are really real. Now, may I call this an end for today? Bye-bye.